Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the brand new Nike KD Trey 5.9. So as you guys all know, the KD Trey 5.8 was a great performer, super cheap. They both retail for 90 bucks, so budget pricing. But you know, as you guys know, Nike for like 2 years they pretty much keep the same exact tooling, so the traction and the midsole has been the same for like a lot of their budget models lately, which kind of sucks. But I mean, if it's a good traction pattern and a good cushioning setup, it's not a huge deal if they keep it the same, right? I mean, the KD Trey 5.7 and the 8 had the same midsole and outsole, so the 9 is going to have a like totally different updated design and all that. So as you guys can see, this is a completely different design. The traction and midsole is all different. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the tracciones. And just right off the bat, I am pretty disappointed in the grooves because Nike is always giving us really crappy durability, guys. And as you guys can see from the KD Trey 5.8, this was really good for durability. And like I even used this on an outdoor court and it held up really well. But if you guys look at the KD Trey 5.9, the grooves are super thin. I mean, it's I guess they're deep though. I mean, the grooves are deep, but they're very, very thin, very pliable as well. And also just like looking at the high wear area, it's like, it looks very shallow, you know, where the high wear area is, where the ball of my foot is. So I feel like the traction is gonna be very bad for durability. As far as the bite goes on my wood floors, it seemed okay. I mean, we have this like weird, it kind of reminds me of a fingerprint, I guess, you know. And as you guys can see here in the forefoot, we have a little groove for forefoot flex. So this helps the forefoot flex a little bit more. And here in the heel, we have KD's logo and we have the Renew foam cushion that's kind of like popping out through the outsole here in the heel. Moving on to the heel to toe transition. So it seems very, very smooth, right? So we have a nice curve shape here in the heel, also a fully exposed midsole. It's a little cage here on the lateral side, which is a good thing. We don't want a whole lot of compression here for lateral stability. And then here in the forefoot, we have a nice curve shape and all that, and a good amount of forefoot flex. So heel to toe transition seems very, very smooth, and the cushion is pretty damn nice. As you guys all know, I like Renew foam, but it does bottom out very, very quickly. So that's one thing that sucks. But you know, when it's new, right when you get it, it's soft. It has a little bit of a rebound back, but not super fast. I would just say it's a little bit more soft. And we have a forefoot zoom unit, which feels pretty nice. It feels like it's the long rectangular unit, you know, not like the unit that's found in the PG3, but like the thinner one. So it's not like super bouncy and there's not a whole lot of compression. I can feel the forefoot zoom unit just a little bit, but you know, it's still nice. Especially comparing it to like budget models like the KD Trey 5.8 or the Precision 5, which doesn't have any zoom units, it's just the foam. So here in the heel, there's a good amount of compression. It feels nice, like I mentioned, because it is Renew. And also another nice thing about Renew foam is that it's a light density foam. So for example, Boost is a high density foam, meaning like it's a very heavy foam. Boost usually contributes to like a lot of the weight in the shoe, but Renew is actually very light, just like React and Lunarlon. And I feel like Nike does a good job in R&D, you know, like they like to make their foams very lightweight and also soft. But I guess one bad thing, like I keep saying, is that Renew does bottom out. So I guess that is a price to pay for like Renew. And also it is a cheaper shoe, so you can't really complain. I mean, if it was React, and React does actually like last a very, very long time. It doesn't bottom out nearly as quickly as Renew, but still, I feel like it's way better than Phylon, and you know, you feel low to the ground. I feel like impact protection is going to be good. I guess I'm just going to have to test how fast it bottoms out. Alright, moving on to the materials. So here in the forefoot, we have kind of like a textile mesh material, and it pretty much stays this textile mesh all the way here into the ankle area. And then here in the heel, we also have another type of mesh. So here in the toe box, it's extremely thin. It actually feels pretty nice. I would say it feels a little bit, just a tiny bit thicker than the KD Trey 5.8. The Trey 5.8 was like a super duper thin material, but the Trey 5.9 is still a very, very thin material. It feels a little bit better quality, I would say. And it feels great on foot, you know, minimal, it feels breathable. It doesn't look cheap either. I like the design on the material. And here in the toe box, we have a little bit of fuse for extra added durability, and also says sniper here, which is pretty interesting. Here in the toe box on the outsole. And then the material stays super thin here in the midfoot, and then here in the ankle area we have a very small amount of padding. as well as here in the tongue. So overall, this material feels super thin, very minimal on foot, but also not bad. You know, like on foot, it feels great. Obviously, for quality, like the material that they use for the lining, and also this mesh material here in the ankle area it's not very nice for quality, but you don't really feel that on your foot all too much, so that's okay for me, you know. All right, moving on to the fit. This is weird, right? So the KD Trey 5.9 runs long, so I would suggest going down half a size. And width-wise is also like not super narrow. You know, KDs usually are very, very narrow, so I don't know what they did, but the fit is actually, it's not roomy, but it's a lot roomier than previous KDs, especially comparing it to the KD Trey 5.8. So that kind of sucks for me. And then here in the toe box, it's a little roomy, not to the point where it's super uncomfortable for me, but I wish it was a little bit like more snug, you know what I'm saying? So personally for me, the fit isn't the greatest, but I mean, if you want like a roomier fit in your shoes, I would suggest just going true to size. If you have a narrow foot, and you want a really snug fit, I would suggest going down half a size. One good thing about this shoe though is that it's very easy to put on. You know, we have a very high heel tab here in the back, and we have a low cut as compared to the KD Trey 5.8, which was more of a mid-cut shoe. And now moving on to support and lockdown. As far as lateral containment goes, I don't think it's going to be the best, right? So here in the forefoot, we have no lateral counter whatsoever. I guess the foam does come up just a tiny bit to cage you, but like there's really nothing here in the forefoot. So and the material doesn't feel very supportive. I mean, it doesn't stretch that much, but it does roll over on itself a little bit. And I feel like the force of, I guess, your foot kind of coming out of the footbed will roll over this material. So we'll have to see on that, but that's just speculation right now. But here in the heel, you're covered. You know, we have an internal TPU heel counter, and we have this like little, what is this, like rubber? Yeah, we have this like little rubber piece with KD's logo on it, and the foam coming up to act as a cage. As far as the lateral stability goes, we don't really have an outrigger, but I guess the midsole and outsole protrude a little bit here in the forefoot, so I feel like lateral stability will be good. And that was also a little bit of a problem with the KD Trey 5.8, just a tiny bit though. You know, here in the forefoot, I mean, we have a little bit of this rubber coming up, but it didn't really come up that much. And also I felt my foot coming out of the footbed just a tiny bit, and I said like if you were a little bit heavier, you would probably feel that a little bit more. So yeah, I am a little bit worried about the KD Trey 5.9. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. I feel like it's gonna be pretty damn light, probably around 11 ounces. Yeah, so 10.72 ounces. The KD Trey 5.8 was a little bit lighter, I believe. Yeah, so 10 ounces on the dot. So the KD Trey 5.9, there is a little bit more weight. It's probably because I actually don't know where all of the weight is coming from. That's kind of interesting. But does it feel heavy? Not at all. You know, like 10.7, 10.8 ounces is actually very light. The average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces. So yeah, this shoe feels very light, very minimal, especially because of the thin materials. And also, like I mentioned, Renew is a very light density foam. So yeah, the shoe, hopefully it feels responsive. I just hope the lateral containment is good in the shoe. All right, moving on to the aesthetics. I actually like it. It looks pretty dope. I don't think it looks as good as the KD Trey 5.8, but you know, it still doesn't look bad. Whoever's designing the Trey models has been doing a good job since I guess like a few models back. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the KD Trey 5.9, it's looking pretty nice. You know, it is a little bit upgraded from the 8. You know, there is a zoom unit here in the forefoot, and I guess the materials are a little bit better. But the traction is a little bit of a disappointment, and I am going to be playing outdoors, so I don't think this is going to hold up at all. That doesn't mean it's going to be a bad traction pattern as far as like the bite goes, but yeah, I mean, I'm spending money and ruining the shoes, which kind of sucks. But overall, it seems pretty damn nice from my first impressions. I just wish the fit was a little bit better. I don't know how they change it up so much from the KD Trey 5.8, or I guess like every single KD model in general, because usually KDs run very narrow and very snug here in the toe box, but that's not the case here in the 9. So I guess if you have a wider foot or you like a roomier fit, the 9 will probably be a better option for you guys. But you know, I am hopeful though. I feel like it's gonna be pretty damn nice. So again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.